Looking at your retirement numbers can feel so scary. But we got to do it. We got to do it. This is my journey trying to retire at 55. Recently, I finally sat down and looked at what my number needs to be so I can retire at 55. So retiring at 55 is definitely possible. It is definitely possible. All you have to figure out is where your income is coming from, what your expense is going to be. You're definitely going to have to probably eliminate a few things. I'm speaking for myself, but let me not project to you. We're going to project to me. So what I'm trying to do to retire at 55, something you might want to, think about, look into, or whatever the case may be. But Kelly's on a journey to retire at 55. So I looked at my numbers and I said, okay, Kelly, what are you willing to pay for housing? Housing may be, in regards to your mortgage or renting, however you choose to do. I know for me, I said that this is not my forever home. And I'm looking more so to rent. Yes, rent goes up, but your mortgage goes up too. So I'm sitting back and I'm looking at all the numbers. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is my mortgage payment. This is my payment. In my payment, there is my mortgage, right? Then you have your taxes, your insurance. Those things can go up, just like your rent can go up. Some things are just non-negotiable, but my mortgage will stay the same. I've been in this home 4 years, and my mortgage has went up twice. My mortgage payment has went up twice, be due to my taxes and my insurance. But my mortgage has stayed the same because I have a fixed rate. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, Kelly, if you think you want to stay in this house and you want to pay it off and do this, I don't want to pay off a house. At the end of the day, you pay off a house, it's still not yours. It's still not yours because guess what? If you don't pay them property taxes, guess who takes it? The state that you're in, the county that you're in. They will take your house. So at the end of the day, it's still not yours. Is it an investment? Absolutely. So that's how I look at having a house. A house is an investment. When I'm ready to cash out, that's when you go ahead and you sell. When you know the market's doing good, your value's doing good, that's when you go ahead and you cash out. So I'm thinking about all these different things and me knowing that if I pay off this house is still not mine because I don't own the land. And people say, oh, I got land. If you don't pay that property tax on that land, you still don't own that land because they'll take it from you. So I'm thinking about all these different things. I said, you know what, Kelly? You know how much you pay in mortgage in that payment. So I put a cap at what I pay now. And I said, you know what? That's my cap. That's how much I want to spend in housing. My expenses. Can I sit back and consolidate or eliminate? Yes, I can. And I said, you know what, Kelly, where we are right now, you're going to have to eliminate some things. So I'm working on that. And I have 5 years, but I'm allowing myself 1 year to do this downsize, work around, and eliminate some things from my life. Because like I know 5 years will be here before you know it. Before you know it. And I want to make sure that I am positioning myself correctly. That is it. Healthcare, I'll be good because where I work, I'm already vested and I will be able to walk away with my healthcare. Pension, that's going to be forever until I leave this good earth that we're on. And all the other things that I have and I'm putting into and I'm growing, that's another story. So ladies, I have been investing and I have been doing it so far on a weekly basis. And I think I'm going to keep it on a weekly basis because it's not so much of a pressure of me doing a big lump. But it feels good to see that the money is actually growing. And it's growing faster than my high yield savings. So it's making me think, but we're going to keep the high yield savings because the high yield savings is where you put your emergency fund. So that's things that I've been actually looking at. So in saying all of that, me knowing that 5 years is really close, I had to sit back and say, this is what made me realize I had to sit back and really run my numbers and not just run them in my head. I had to literally run them on some paper. And I also made sure I have enough funds to do things that I want to do, not just live, in a confined space where I can't enjoy life. I can't travel and things like that. I really want to experience life because I sit back and I hear so many different women talk about retiring and waiting and the reason why they're waiting and things like that. This one lady, I was watching her, she was on YouTube and she was like, I just got married at 45. I do have a stepson and things like that. And my husband and we said that I was going to wait. My husband and I said that I was going to wait, meaning for her to retire and wait until she was it 67 or 65? I think it was 67 because she was a little bit older than me. So I think her mark is 67 where she can get like full retirement and her check would have been like $5,000. And she showed her Social Security things and things like that, the calculations. You don't even know if your bones are going to be working at 67. Yeah, 67 is really young, and where we are today versus where we were years ago in the 60s and the 50s and the 70s. However, things can happen at a drop of a dime. We don't know. We can't predict life. We can try to make sure we're doing right while we're here, but we don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen in 5 years. I am projecting. But to sit back and hold out to get some funds and work to make sure your stepson go to school and then and then you have to keep working and you don't know how you're going to feel. No, I like that break even rule. It's like, okay, yeah, if I wait later to pull out my Social Security, even if it's even still there, okay, to pull out my Social Security, if you're not doing good, you may not even have that many months to even see that Social Security. You take it out when you can, and even if it's, $200, $300 less than what you was going to get, after a while, you will catch up because you know what? You're getting more payments. You're getting more payments versus someone who's just getting that one payment when they wait to that year. You've been getting money, and they just now getting it. So I think about things like that. There's a break even in that. Yeah, that just made me think about somebody else is telling you what to do for yourself and you're planning for your retirement. Yes, I know when you are a couple, you have to plan as a group, a collective, but it's like nobody at this big age, you don't know how you're going to feel and how you're going to be. So it's like plan for now and plan together. I didn't hear anything about what his plans was. And I know it's probably not privy, but I think about stuff like that. It's like we have to plan for ourselves. So that's what I'm doing, as you guys already know. Conversations like this was a pure wake-up call for me, and it made me realize, Kelly, you have to get to your number. So right now, my number is 6,000. I think as a full-blown senior citizen, 6,000 is enough. And that's coming from different avenues and different sources. But that's how I feel right now. That's how I feel right now, how I'm playing at 54, 55. Again, we have to understand what the economy is looking like. We have to understand. And you know what? And the crazy part about it, you don't even really have to worry about that. Because think about people that retired 10 years ago. They didn't have the opportunity to know that we were going to be in a situation where gas is going to be almost $6 here in my area. So I feel like when you retire, you just make sure you have what you need and a little extra, and life will adjust itself. Or you will adjust yourself. If that makes sense. I think that makes sense a little bit more. So now that we know what my numbers, I just want to kind of have a more open conversation about, why so many people are afraid to even look at their number or to look at their finances and talk about, oh, retirement. People are like, oh, I know some people that's like, you know what? I can't do that right now. I can't do this right now. I need to do this a little bit later when I get a little bit closer because it's too much. I have to focus on what's going on now and pay these bills right now. And sometimes you can get caught up in that living check to check thing. And then when you don't have that check anymore, then you got to really uproot your life and find you a whole new place to live because you can't afford what you have. So it's best to kind of know what you're walking into if you want to keep what you have. And I know some of you ladies, we sit and we talk. Read the comments, and some of them say, "Oh, I want to pay my house. I want to pay my house off. That will help. That will help." And it's like, yes, it will help, but it's like as you getting older, your house is getting older, things in your house start breaking down and whatnot, and you got to fix that. Yeah, it's not an every day, every month situation, but are we letting a payoff of a house stop us from really living the life that we want? You can't travel and live your life because we're holding on to a mortgage. Let me tell you something right now. I was telling my daughter the other day, I said, having a home is beautiful. Knowing that you can go and get it, and experience it. It is nice, but it's a lot of responsibility. I don't care if it's two people. I don't care if it's one person. It is a lot of responsibility. Living in an apartment, living in a condo, it can be a totally different situation because you can have maintenance on hand and things like that. It's just a different experience. When you have a single family home, everything is on you. I think for me, renting or me getting a condo or some form of apartment with a maintenance situation, maybe I can buy the apartment. I don't know, condo. I think that's the route I would go. Yes, it would still be something I'm paying for, but I would definitely pass it down to my daughters and make sure it's a nice apartment or a nice condo that they can definitely have or they can definitely visit when they want to go to. If not, knowing how some of these kids are today or these young adults, they do not want the things that we have. Because I know a lot of people say, I want to give my house to my children. And the house is barely hanging on. It's like these kids don't want that. These kids want new, modern. Some kids do want, the house and things like that. They feel like, oh, I ain't got to pay no rent. For those self-conscious children where they say, oh, if I ain't got to pay no rent, but they're not knowing you got to still pay them taxes. And you got to make sure you keep up with the house when a toilet break, when this break. But we ain't talking about that right now. You see how I go off? I go off. So don't let talking about your number scare you. Sit down. Glass of wine, maybe. I know for me, I had to be focused. I had to be focused. And I said, you know what, Kelly? If this is something that you really, really, really want to do, how are you going to actually put your best forward and do it? Yes, you're going to have to pull back a little bit. Yes, you're going to have to rearrange some things in your life. But if this is what you really want and you really want to live your life while you're still in some youth, and I don't mean youth like a kid, youth of a senior, the younger side of almost being a senior, it's like you need to eliminate something. I look at so many people who just don't want to stop working. Some people can't stop working, let's say that. But you can position yourself by not doing all the things that you do. And people say, this is my lifestyle. This is what I like. This, yes, we treat ourselves good. But when you get to the point where you 60 and 70 and you still hustling and bustling, I feel like for me, I don't want that. I don't want that. I want to be traveling at 55. I really do. I mean, I want to travel now, and I am. But I really want to do more of that longer traveling and pretty much just going. I'm just rambling. Let's go to the next thing. So now let's talk about the emotions that kind of draw up in your system when you start talking about retirement and your number and will you have enough. It's scary because you're like, damn, I'm not going to get the same amount of money to live like this when I retire. Not unless you really saving and you really investing and you really do what you're supposed to do. Then yes, you can maintain all what you have, because it's not like it's impossible. People do it. Keep everything they have and live the same way they live on retirement funds. I've seen it. I know it. But there's no but. But there is an emotional side, because there's a scary part of hoping that you can still maintain what you have without the downsides. You know, everybody doesn't think like me, but they're like, yeah, girl, I'm getting rid of all of this. Put me somewhere nice and cozy. I can just rip and run and do whatever I want to do. You know, I want to be the one that I can literally leave out my place and I can walk into the city or walk into the town, and I have a local coffee shop and I have, you know, some restaurants, and I may have some grocery stores. That's how I want to live, because I want to make sure I'm still mobile and I'm still moving around. I don't want to be a burden on my children. And I know some people be like, oh, my kids better take care of me because I took care of them and I gave them whatever. Absolutely. My daughters are going to be there for me. But I still want to live my own life and have my autonomy over my life. There's so many people out here who are in their 80s, 90s, still just trucking along, doing their own thing, getting in the car, driving. My aunt is like that. She is holding it down. So I want full autonomy. You know, I want to be able to go out, have my little thing, do whatever I do, mind my business. Okay. But knowing what my number is and knowing that, you know, I'm saying today that 6,000 would be enough for me, it really made me think about, okay, Kelly, you already know what you're going to get from your pension. You already know what you lined up for with Social Security. You know, even if you work till, 62, and it all depends on, how much money you make and if you make more money, all that good stuff. But you already know what those numbers are. And you know what you actually need to bring in. And that's from you investing, and that's you making conscious decisions. And that's me knowing that really made me want to invest even more and go even harder. Because now this is me making up for myself. Pension, yeah, I'm pouring into that too. But this part right here, this investing part, me not wanting to buy a bottle of perfume, me not doing that crazy shop, spending, $500 going outside. I'm taking that money and I'm really throwing it in my investing, my brokerage account, my HSA, or my Roth IRA. There's definitely caps to this. So long as you sit back and you cap it out, you don't have to sit back and do it no more. We know, I think it's like $7,000 or $8,000 for the HSA. Knock it out. Get it done. Get it done. Break it up in 12 months. It's over. Same thing for Roth IRA. Break it up. It's over. Then you got your brokerage account. That doesn't have a limit. You do whatever you want to do in there. So you sit back and you sit and say, we blow $7,000, probably 2 or 3 trips, going out the country, doing a birthday, getting hair and nails done. That's what made me look at it in that perspective. Okay, when you went on this trip, you spent $3,000. When you went on that trip, you spent $4,000. Add them two together, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 trips. You already got your total investment for your HSA. I'm not saying you not to go on your trip, but I'm just giving you an analogy so you can have a bigger picture on how we do come in contact with these funds. Because some of you sit and say, well, I don't got that kind of money. I don't run across that kind of money. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Because I know last year alone, that trip when I went to that cruise on Virgin, I spent at least total $3,000. Total. I didn't get no deal. I didn't buy it last minute and got, inside cabin, all that. Because I see people do that too, and they spend maybe $1,500 for everything. I didn't do that. So that was a wake-up call for me. Yes, Kelly, You can still go have a good time. You can still enjoy yourself. I have a birthday come. I'm turning 50. I already done planned my birthday trip. I am so excited. Is it going to cost me a pretty penny? Yes, it is. But I'm going to suck that one up because guess what? I'm turning 50. I'm taking my daughters. We going to DC. We're going to go do a little DC tour of the African American Museum, MLK, all the different things. We're going to go out there and just have a really, really good time for a weekend. Am I going to miss out on the moments? No, I'm not. But I'm definitely going to limit. Once I finish doing what I'm doing, I have 3 trips planned. I'm probably going to do maybe 4. After that, I'm sitting down. I am sitting down. I'm going to still have some good times. Go out here, go out there, maybe, a couple of few solo dates and whatnot. But for the most part, I know I have to buckle down. I know what I can spend. I know what I can't spend. Just so I can fast track me retiring at 55. As you see it, your girl is not playing about retiring at 55. I'm taking you on this journey with me because it's something I really, really want to do. And I know it can be done. And I want to share it with you. So this is my new series, as we already know. We've been seeing a couple of videos already. Retire at 55. I'm going to be sharing a bunch of different things that I come encounter to as I'm trying to retire at 55, how I'm saving. And I also want to share with you like my Fidelity account and things like that, how it's growing. And I'm gonna have to figure out how I can actually do that without showing too much. But I definitely want to show you like percentages on how much my money has grown within a time, because your money grows every day. Every day. It doesn't just grow like once a month. You can have a really, really good day and the money just shoots up. It's amazing. It is amazing. I want to know how many of you have a Fidelity investment account, Vanguard, Schwab, any of those, Robinhood. Let me know how many of you have an investment account and getting ready for retirement. I am super excited. I know a lot of, I have one girlfriend that I talk about retirement to, and we get into some really good in-depth conversations about it. But I really don't have a lot of girlfriends that I do talk to about retirement. And I definitely want this conversation to be a little bit more wider, because sometimes we just sit back and think about where we are today. And then also we think about, just because we're partnered in marriages and relationships, that we don't have to think about that, something our husband should be thinking about, or we should be doing about together. But in all reality, yes, you could do that together, but it's also good to know where you stand. Because I do know a few women who have no clue. The husband takes care of it. And God forbid something happens to him, you got to find a way. My aunt, my great aunt to be exact, she didn't know how to pay a bill, write a check, or anything. My uncle did everything. And when he passed, my mom had to go in and do the bills. Because at that point, she was like, what? Checkbook? Debit card? ATM? Get out the car? She didn't know nothing about that. She was an Eastern Star. Husband was what was he? What's with the men? I can't get it. A Mason. And he was a deacon. You know nothing about that. She didn't know nothing about that. He took care of her. Now, yeah. But he took care of her. But I'm excited about this journey. And if you enjoyed this conversation, please share with another Black woman over 40 so she can come on over here and absorb, hype the video up, like, comment, subscribe, all the things. Because when you do that, it just triggers to other Black women over 40 who are just intrigued with things like this. And it brings them over so we can build our community. So in saying all of that, I thank you. And thank you for being here on my journey as I'm trying to retire at 55.